Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It's Monday night, a lot of racing. This is the bottom line, brought to you by Chances Logistics at Freight Scrap Daddy, trucking up and down the highway, making it happen all day, all night long. We hope you got out to do some racing this past weekend. There was a lot of racing on the docket for sure. Man, I know we hit a lot of shows. It was hot. Man, was it ever hot. You know what I'm saying? But we were there. We had a lot of fun. We're going to go over that here in a minute. I'm solo tonight. Fast Freddy's on vacation. Mark's just getting back. So you know what? I rearranged her up here and hit the little tripwire button so I can hit it, and here I am. But let me get up here in my perch. Hold on there. We ain't going to run that thing. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's brought to you by Chances Logistics. We're here at Studio 02. And we're going to give you the bottom line. We promise we give you the bottom line, and I'll be damned, we're going to give you the bottom line. So we got a lot to go over, and let's get down to it. This is brought to you by Dan's Auto Repair down here in East Side, downtown Rouseville. Here's the results. Let's do it. Let's go to Sealings Grove. Appalachian Mountain Speed Week finale. It was a makeup. It was brought back to Snyder County, Sand Hill this Friday. Last leg of it, okay? As you know, they got hit with a lot of weather. Saturday led the points going in. Saturday won. He won Sealings Grove Friday night. Jones was second. That's right, Sean Jones. Then we've seen Mattern third, Scrub Eckert fourth, and then the General, Kyle Lee fifth. The General, Kyle Lee fifth. Ultimately, the points for Appalachian Mountain Speed Week went as follows. Saturday, The Truth, he secured the win. He was the points man. No one could touch him. Feathers was second. At one point in time, early on Speed Week, Feathers was there, a stone throw away, but then it had a little too much gain from Saturday. Bernhazel was third. How about that? Big brother Dan Stone was fourth, and the Kyle General Lee, was fifth. Okay. Now, we see Jones. Let's talk about that in a minute. Sean Jones. Now, I wasn't there, obviously. From what I heard, Sean Jones went neck and neck, door to door with the old Satterley machine. That's right. Ultimately, Satterley wins, but there was a lot of good things to be said, positive things about Sean Jones up on the wheel. That's right, up on the wheel, so good for him. Limited late models. That's right, limited late models accompanying him that night. We've seen Jared Falkrod. That's right. Now, I don't see him too much, Falkrod. Nope, I don't. But I do like the Burger King thing on the quarter panel. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Be the king. Who's the king? Burger King, right? But no, I don't see him too often. But second, Snooki. Snooki won second. The Superfly, Colby Fry, he was third. That's right, he was third. Now, apparently, I seen on the write-up, they're calling Snooki, as we call him here in Studio 02, the Juice Box. So I don't know. I must be his nickname, Juice Box, up in that neck of the woods. I have to make a mental note of that. I'll have to ask him if he likes the Snooki or the Juice Box better, or if maybe he doesn't care. Dog Holla, limited late models. Well, man, we had a good bit of, okay, here we go. Brian Benton, he was victorious. John Weaver was second. Caleb Whiteford was third. Now, I'm starting to learn some of them guys up at Dog Hollow, other when DJ goes up, Kyle Lear goes up, DJ Garrett, Ray Ciccarelli, Justin Weaver. I know Tom Decker's up in that neck of the woods in a 43D. But, yeah, some of these fellas right here, they're kind of, they're up in that neck of the woods. That's great. That's what keeps it going, guys. The track's got cars. Crates, David Kaiser. That's right, David Kaiser. I believe that's 6 in a row. I could be wrong, but I believe that's 6 in a row. Mike Lockhart, he was second in the crates there. Moving on, Williams Grove, they had no racing scheduled. Actually, they were too busy deciding if they were going to ban Taylor Farthing from the borough of Mechanicsburg. I thought it was funny. You should laugh, right? Okay. Lincoln canceled, rain. Yep, so they got drenched, apparently. Drenched is putting it lightly. Port Royal, 410s. That's right. Last night we seen Port Royal in the 410s. Walgan was victorious, and that was the Klein tribute. The J&S, Jim and Sandy Klein. Obviously, he passed away, and that was 10,000. That was 10,000. Zierfoss was second in the Eichelberger machine. Mark Smith, there you go. Mark Smith been around the game a long time, fellas, and I like to see when Mark Smith runs up there. Okay, I really do. Limited late models. Lo and behold, should we say Juice Box or Snooki? It was Snook, right? It was Snook. Garmin, look at Garmin. Apparently Garmin ran right with him, had a good run, second place finish up at the Speed Palace. Good for Garmin. Zook was third. Zook was third. Moving on. I can't yell at anybody or say, Fred, Mark, how's things looking on that end? I just got to imagine they're looking good, and I'm sure they are. Hagerstown, that was the makeup for the Frank Saggy Memorial. That is correct. There was a lot of thunderstorms around, a lot of stuff going on. I know Path Valley, it was all around us. It kind of split the mountain there, and but they did get some rain, but they got things started. We've seen super late model Victorious Saturday. That's right, the Truth parks it. Now, mind you, he won Friday, he wins Saturday. Okay, Cosner second, Feathers third, Scrub Eckert fourth, Hardy fifth. The captain, Cal Hardy fifth in the Sammy Lacey 45 entry. Okay, now. They did not. Oh, yeah, this is the bum part of it. I hear that Stuhler, he was in a wreck, Jones was in a wreck, Booz was in a wreck, but Stuhler's car, it took some pretty hard damage. I hate to hear that for him and this team. But they're getting, from what I understand, a little birdie told me that it's getting obviously fixed, and we'll get her back in action here. Okay, Stuhler, he ain't done yet. Rain. That was the name of the game after the super late. Unfortunately, the semi-lates or the pure stocks could not get the feature in. That's right, they couldn't get it in due to rain after the Saggy Memorial. So they move on to Winchester, right? Now here's the caveat, if you will. There is an additional $2,500 on the line if whoever won at Hagerstown the night before could be victorious at Winchester. So that was an addition to the 6,091 smackers that they paid for the Jimmy Spence Memorial. And we know the Jimmy Spence Memorial was on its third one, and it was, unfortunately, they got it started there, a week, a month ago, whatever. It rained so damn much, I don't even know. I feel like we're in the Delta Kong, okay? It's just humidity and rain. But anyways, it was back there, it rained, they got not all the heats in, so they started over, and they added this little caveat, right? So we're at Winchester. Fast Freddy and I are there. We're doing the pit walkie. That's right. We're doing it. It's hot. It's hot, man. I'm going to tell you, hotter than a $2 pistol. But super late models, yeah, he did it. The Truth Saturday parks it in Victory Lane. We've seen the Captain Cal Hardy in the Sammy Lacey 45 entry run second, and we've seen Feathers. He runs third. East Coast Legends, my friends. Freeze and Company, right? Freeze and Company. They're in town. That's exactly right. They're in town. They like going to Winchester, the action track. So we see that they're going to have 35 plus cars, and they always have a high car count. Even for Sunday, they have that's a high car count. So they're having two features. So we see the first feature gets won by Tanner Jones. That's right. Tanner Jones wins. The second feature, we see the Iceman, Kelby Freeze. He parks it in Victory Lane for East Coast Legends #2 feature. So that's Winchester, right? The weather cleared out. It was starting to look like it did rain some. And then it kind of went away, and the sun came out again and just baked everybody, literally. So everybody's just been, ultimately baked for, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the racetrack. If it didn't rain, it's baking you. Path Valley, the quarter-mile bull ring and spring run. I've said her a lot. This past weekend because we were there not once, but twice. That's right. Friday we were there. Saturday we were there. Friday we were there for the TA Ward Construction show down at the bull ring. That's right. 2,000 smackers were on the line for that guy who was going to be in TA Ward Victory Lane and finish first in the 270 class. That's right. We've seen Billy Lockman, I like to say. That's right. Out of New Oxford. Billy Lockman parks it. He's won earlier this year, and he parks it for the big $2,000. Good for him. Thunder Cars, we had a makeup for the Butch Schatzer Memorial, and we've seen McQuaid's Army, Robert McQuaid in the 25S. He parks it. What a win there. The Tank, Charlie Stallman, he parks it in the regularly scheduled feature for the Thunder Cars. Wingless Sportsman's makeup feature for the Butch Schatzer Memorial. We see Brandon Scherer, okay? Brandon Scherer, and that's amazing. That's awesome. I love to see that. That's our first win of Wins at Motorsports as a team, and that's his first win in the Wingless Sportsman's. And he did her in high-style fashion. He had the best in the business following. That's right, Tony Jackson in the 88. We move on to the regular scheduled feature. Jackson, however, wins that one. Tony Jackson. I think they said it was 56 wins. Right now he's sitting on. He's going to retire after this year. That's what they say. Path Valley again, Saturday night. We had an awesome pre-race zone. Limited late models are in town. You're getting to thinking, man, Port's running them. They're running. What's the car count going to be like? Shebang! The car count was 29. That's right, 29. We had a B-main. Let me see that again. Let me say that again. We had a B-main, ladies and gentlemen, at Path Valley Speedway. That's correct, the B-main. There you have it. Now, we had a lot of decent heavy shoes signed in. Limited late models, and it's kids' night. The place is packed. Let me back up. The place is jam-packed. On the back gate, the front gate, it's packed. Kids' night's a big deal there, and it is. It's a cool thing. It really is. So we want to thank Luke Lanker and his wife and a lot of other people, but especially Nicole Lanker for her efforts in that all the time with doing kids' night. Every kid got some. I mean, there was bicycles, there was Nerf guns, dude, there was everything you could think of. It was everywhere. Okay? So we move on. Limited late models. It was the Tornado. Trent Merkel, ladies and gentlemen. He lays another dub down in the books. Okay? Gunnar Walls second. Taylor Farling third. Gunnar Walls, he had some come up through there. He was running pretty hot and heavy. He settles for second. Farling found some on the top because the track was a little, wasn't too racy there in the beginning. Big John did a little water spritz on her and a little bit of track maintenance at intermission. I'm going to tell you what, it made a world of difference. She was multi-grooved and fast. And, man, the racing was hot. It was hot, I'm telling you. We see Tony Jackson. He wins again in New England Sportsman's. Thunder Cars, Jeremy Ott. I tell you, one of the best races I ever seen, and I mean this, was Jeremy Ott and Aaron Updegraft in the number 10 and number 77. They ran neck and neck, door to door, paper thin tight for like 10 laps. To finally Ott, he succumbs, and he's the victor. It was clean. It was a great race. I loved it. We see, the 600s. That's right, the 600s. Young man, Heath Walton. Heath Walton steps it in victory lane. Strictly Stocks, Rusty Garlick. Okay, and the 270s, Braden Kuhn, your very own Braden Kuhn out of Greencastle. That's right. He was victorious there. Clinton County. That's right. Moving up in the big Clinton County, up the fairgrounds there. The 410s made a little stroll into town. That's always a big highlight. I believe they go there twice. One more round for them. We've seen Billy the Kid Dietrich. That's right, Billy Dietrich. He was victorious there, Clinton County in the 410s. They had a full field, and they had a B-main. They had a lot of cars. Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith in the 6th. He was second. Third goes to Old Milwaukee. That's right, Lucas Wolf. Good for Lucas Wolf. Okay, moving on. Shebang. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. This is the weekly recap, news report, and all the results and whatever else we drum up. And it's brought to you by Chaz's Logistics, Scrap Daddy, bringing her up and down the road day in and day out. That's exactly right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to be honest. I mean, I heard most racetracks were doing pretty good crowd-wise. You know what I mean? People got out, went to the races. It's hot, man. It's stinking hot. Bedford. That's right. Let's say it again. Bedford simulates Kyle Deneen. He was victorious. 4 cylinders was Tom Brady. No, not the Tom Brady who played for the Patriots. Not that guy. Okay, but it was Tom Brady. Okay. Mods, we see Mitch Thomas. Mitch Thomas was victorious. Brandon Hoover was second. He's been running good lately in the modified. BAPS, they had streets. I guess these are extreme stocks. Okay. Blake Decker, 602 Crate Sportsman's, was Jesse Leby. Okay. Super Sportsman's, that's correct. The little wings. Sprint cars with the little wings on them. Okay. Tyler Warford. Tyler Warford was victorious there. Okay. So we rolled through there, and now we get to the Ashley Yoder Designs. Gotta love Ashley Yoder. She's making some beautiful race cars, ladies and gentlemen. Wraps, decals, the whole 9 yards. Ashley Yoder Designs, who's hot? That's right, who's hot? Well, we're going to say crates, Dave and Kaiser. How could you go wrong on that? 6 dubs in a row, Dave and Kaiser. Super late models, Satterley. He swept the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. There ain't using that many super late model races in the local area at one time like that, let alone win all 3 of them. Okay? He wins at Selinsgrove, Speed Week. He clinches the title. Saturday, he wins at Hagerstown. Sunday, he wins the extra coin of 2,500 smackers, okay, on top of the 6,091 at the Jimmy Spencer Memorial at Winchester Speedway on Sunday. A pretty good week it was. I think he should take off work money and celebrate. And he may have, right? But he's your hot driver. He's your hot driver. Limited late models, it's Snooky. That's right. We're staying with Snooky on our part, on the southern end down here. It's Snooky, Lane Snook. 410s, you know what? Troy Walgerman's been running decent. He won that big race there for the Klein Memorial. So good for him. That was a $10,000 payday. So good for him, Troy Walgerman. Now, YouTube. Elbows Up Dirt Productions. Go on there, subscribe. All of our videos, everything we do, pit walks, you name it, man. Pre-race zones, they all get banked over there because Facebook gets rid of them after 30 days. So they're for your viewing pleasure over on YouTube. It don't cost. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be back out on the road with the ULMS Saturday, Latrobe Speedway, doing pre-race zone. Up on the mic, calling the race. That'll be a good time up in Latrobe, PA, the home of Rolling Rock beer. What do you think of that? I have to keep Freddie out of the brewskis. We will be at the Mike Path Valley Friday night. Let's not forget ULMS, Zuver and Company. That's right. invades Path Valley Speedway. Always a good show. Always a lot of good regional drivers, man. A lot of good regional drivers roll in for that. Plus, we have his UEMS, the United E-Mod Series. Modifieds are there Friday night at Path Valley as well. That's Dr. Krause's Night of Power. I love doing that. I think he likes when I do it, too. Let me do it again. Night of Power. Okay? Yeah. So you have 305 Sprints signed in. Okay? They'll be on the card. Super late models, mods, 305 Sprints. ULMS, Zuber & Company, Dr. Krause's Night of Power. I did it 3 times. Winchester, Junior Boone Memorial, super late models. That'd be a good show. How about the East Coast Legends? They'll be back in town again. The boys are back in town. There you have it. And Freeze & Company will put on a spectacular show. There's no doubt about it. I'm telling you that. Hagerstown has your late model sportsmen. That's right. The rest is 410 stuff. Figure it out. Okay? So, you know, we're pretty fendered around here. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a good week. Once again, this has been brought to you by Chances Logistics. This is the Bottom Line. I'm Tommy Cradell. It was a pleasure walking the pit walks this week, speaking to all the drivers. I can assure you we'll keep bringing the big energy all day, all night. Stay on the lookout for when our next show, when our next guest is going to be in-house. And keep looking out. We're out on the road. That's right, doing some pit walkies, and we're back at Path Valley. You know, the small track with the big action. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, elbows up. Have a good rest of your week.